Baker Mayfield gets traded to the Panthers. He's no longer a Brown. They have finally split up. Good for them. Good for the Browns. Good for Baker Mayfield. This situation they had to break up. There was no other way around it. No matter what the allegations and what the situations with Watson was, there was no way that the Browns and Baker Mayfield were going to stay together. This had to be done. Ultimately, the Browns had to eat a lot of that contract in order for the Panthers to make that trade for Baker Mayfield. I'm not too surprised. It made sense. Like, Baker Mayfield is not a hot commodity at this point. But I do want to talk about the move. For the Browns, who cares? Like, if Watson plays, if he's able to play, he's going to play. If he doesn't get to play, they have Brissett. They might trade for Garoppolo. That's not the most exciting situation. Obviously, we'll see what happens with Watson. That terrible stuff. But with the Panthers, that's the one where there's a QB battle now. It's going to be Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold. And after this trade, a lot of people are saying that Baker Mayfield is going to be the day one starter week one of the 2022-2023 season. And I just don't see it that way. I think, obviously, I don't want to get confused. I don't want to get miscategorized and be considered a Sam Darnold fan or defender or anything like that. Like, he did come out of UC and I like USC, but I know how USC quarterbacks struggle. And by no means do I have any attachment to Sam Darnold. Not even like fantasy football. Like, he did not like save me 1 week and then I have this special connection to him because he was like a waiver wire darling. Like, I have zero connection to Sam Darnold. But I would like to say that Baker Mayfield played for the Browns. And although everyone clowns on the Browns for what they do, and, they don't help themselves signing $230 million contract to Watson in the midst of this legal battle that he's going on right now. And now that might be the worst contract ever, depending on what happens. They have been a better team the last few years, basically since Baker got there. And it's not just because Baker got there. A lot of people are trying to say that, it's because of Baker. It's not. Like, they really kind of got their shit together. They drafted better. They got some free agents. They got weapons everywhere for the most part. They had OBJ. They had Njoku. They got the tight end from the Atlanta. I forgot his name. They got a lot of people. And they have Hunt. They had Chubb. They had a lot of stuff going together. They have a great offensive line. Baker Mayfield had more than enough help, and he still did not look good. Even last year when his numbers were like pretty good, and he took him to the playoffs and he won that game against the Steelers. He never looked like he was amazing. Even when he was putting up those numbers, like, everyone looks at the numbers, and yeah, they're nice. They're nice numbers, and yeah, he beat the Steelers, but like, everything you got to take with context. Like, those numbers look good, but they should have been so much better. If you guys watch the Browns, there's so many yards that got left on the field because Baker Mayfield, just overthrew it a little bit or underthrew it. Wide receiver running wide open, and he throws it at his feet. So instead of getting some yak, he has to go to the floor and he gets, touchdown, and he gets touchdown. So, like, the play ends where he catches the ball. This hypothetical wide receiver. There's numerous plays, so I can't just say like one player. It could be Higgins, it could be Peoples-Jones, it could be OBJ, it could be whoever you want to talk about. There's so many plays where there's just you leave a lot of meat on the bone. Like, yeah, you got a nice bite, but there's a lot of meat on the bone that you left there. And this is all with the great offensive line, with two elite running backs. One that, could battle for the best running back in the league. The other one who's the best backup running back in the league, who some teams would love to have as their number one running back, who was the number one running back for the Chiefs before he had, I forgot what was his allegations. I think he hit his girl or something. I don't remember. But the point is, elite running backs, elite weapons. OBJ looked amazing once he left. He had a lot of help, and he still never looked amazing or even like really above, like really, really good. We could forgive amazing. We could forgive really good. But what his good was just good. His bad was pretty bad. And for the most part, he was just mediocre. And like, that was his seasons. Rookie year, really good. Second year, below average to bad. Third year, good to, mediocre. A lot of meat on the bone. Last year, bad. Parentheses, injury, got to take it with a little bit of context. But the Panthers are not that good. They don't have, we'll see how McCaffrey comes back, elite running back when he's healthy. They do have some wide receivers, even though, Robbie Anderson is not the most excited to have him. But I think if you look on the offensive side, the Browns and the Panthers, and you compare them, it's a downgrade for Baker Mayfield as far as personnel, protection. Um, so what I'm trying to say is I don't expect Baker Mayfield to just be unleashed, that it was the Browns' fault, that now that Baker Mayfield is going to have this cloud gone from his head, from his mental space, he's going to leave this toxic relationship. I don't expect him to just out of nowhere break out and show that number one overall potential or, status that he came into the league with. I honestly think he's going to struggle. I think either way, this is either going to play out. He's gonna win the starting job, or they're gonna kind of hand it to him. No matter what, either way, if he starts week 1, they're gonna probably give him half the season to get it together. Ultimately, I don't think he's gonna get it together, and he's gonna get benched for Sam Darnold. And then I think Sam Darnold is not gonna play that good, and then they're gonna swap him in and out. Or the other scenario is Baker Mayfield is a little too late in the offseason. He's not gonna win the starting job week 1. Sam Darnold is gonna be there week 1. He's going to be given less than half the season because Baker Mayfield is that new toy that they just traded for. So Sam Darnold's not going to play good either. He's going to start 3 to 4 games. By that 4th game, he's going to get benched at halftime. Baker Mayfield's going to come in. He's probably going to give him a little bit of a spark just because it's something different. And then 5 weeks later, they're going to be jumbling quarterbacks again. The fans are going to be split saying, oh, go back to Sam Darnold. No, stick it out with Baker, or the other way around, like, oh, go back to Baker. No, stick it out with Sam Darnold. Overall, this is just a bad situation for the Panthers, and I think they just traded it because they're the team that everybody was kind of expecting to trade for Baker Mayfield. Ultimately, if you locked down the GM and the owner and you said, did you really want Baker Mayfield? Do you think this is the solution? They're going to say no. They gave up a 5th, and they said we'll only pay like $3 million of his salary. Like, that's it. So, like, by no means do they have like a financial obligation. By no means do they have to, justify the pick that they gave up for. Like, this could be like, by the end of the season, like, it could be over for both Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold in the NFL. And that's kind of what I'm saying. I just don't like, both quarterbacks do not impress me at all. The Panthers don't have the culture nor the personnel to really lift these guys. So ultimately, I think it doesn't matter who starts, who wins the job. I think no matter what happens, the starter week 1 is not going to make it past the halfway point of the season. With Sam Darnold, it'll be less time because he has been there, and Baker Mayfield would be the shiny toy that they kind of want to use. Fans will be clamoring for him. If it's the other way around, if Baker Mayfield starts week 1, I think he's giving a longer leash. But by, the halfway point, week 8, week 9, week 7, week 8, week 9, I think he'll get benched for Sam Darnold too, and fans will be calling for Sam Darnold. And then ultimately they'll just play musical chairs till the end of the season, and then it'll probably get blown up. That's my opinion. I don't wish bad against them. I'm just giving my honest opinion on what I think is gonna happen. Obviously, if one of these guys fulfills his potential, it'll be great. And if they fulfill it soon, and then the Panthers cut the other guy, and he's able to latch on somewhere, and he does well too, by all means, that'd be great. But I'm just giving my opinion and thinking critically on what I think is gonna happen with the Panthers and both of these quarterbacks.